All right, let's dive into one of Shakespeare's absolute best and most beloved comedies, Twelfth Night. It's this wild ride of mistaken identity and crazy love triangles, for sure. And this is what makes it so brilliant. It's also asking some pretty deep questions about, who we really are and who we fall in love with.
I mean, really, what does happen when everyone falls for the absolute wrong person? That question right there, that's the engine that drives this entire play. It's a hilarious comedy of errors, all built on desire, a little deception, and one simple disguise that just throws an entire household into the most delightful, romantic chaos. So let's get into how this whole mess gets started.
So, here's our game plan. We'll set the scene, talk about the shipwreck that gets the ball rolling, dive into the messy love stories in a seriously cruel prank, see how it all gets untangled in the end, and then wrap up with why this play is still so amazing after all this time.
Okay, first up, Shakespeare's Comedy of Chaos. Let's set the stage.
You can just feel that Shakespeare was having a blast writing this one. Twelfth Night is a romantic comedy, and it's set in this sort of magical, made-up place called Illyria. The title itself points to the end of the Christmas season, that final big, chaotic party before everyone has to go back to reality.
Okay, so how does all this madness get started? Well, in classic Shakespearean fashion, it all begins with a shipwreck. One single disaster at sea kicks off this whole chain reaction of disguises and mix-ups. So, meet our hero, Viola. She's smart, she's tough, and she's just washed ashore after this terrible shipwreck. But she's completely alone, and, what's worse, she's convinced her identical twin brother, Sebastian, didn't make it. She thinks he's gone forever.
Now, being a woman all by herself in a strange land is pretty dangerous. So she comes up with this brilliant plan, a plan that basically drives the entire play. She decides to disguise herself as a young man. She calls herself Cesario and manages to get a job working for the local big shot, Duke Orsino. And this is where things get complicated. Okay, check it out. You've got Duke Orsino, who is just completely obsessed with winning over Lady Olivia. But Olivia? Yeah, she's not interested. She's mourning her brother and has sworn off men. And then, smack in the middle of it all, is our Viola, now disguised as Cesario. Her job is to help the Duke woo Olivia, but the whole time she's secretly falling in love with the Duke herself. You can just see the disaster brewing, can't you?
So all the players are on the board, and now Shakespeare just lets it all fly. We've got this wild mix of tangled up love affairs, and on the side, a really, really funny but also kind of cruel prank. And here it is, the central mess in all its glory. So Orsino sends Cesario, who is really Viola, remember, to deliver his love poems to Olivia. But it backfires big time. Olivia couldn't care less about the Duke, but she is totally smitten with his charming messenger, Cesario. So now you have Olivia chasing Cesario, who's actually Viola, who's in love with Orsino, who is still hung up on Olivia. It's this perfect, agonizing, and hilarious loop.
But wait, that's not all that's going on. While the nobles are all tangled up in their love drama, the servants are cooking up some trouble of their own. Their target? A guy named Malvolio. He's Olivia's head steward, and he is just the worst. He's so stuffy and full of himself that everyone else decides he's got it coming. And the prank they pull is just comedic gold. First, Olivia's clever maid Maria fakes a love letter from Olivia written in a way that makes Malvolio think it's for him. The letter tells him to do all this bizarre stuff to prove his love, like wear yellow stockings, which Olivia hates, and smile like a complete maniac all the time, and of course, he does it. He totally falls for it, and his behavior is so weird that they all pretend he's gone mad and lock him up. It's hilarious, but also, yikes, a little bit dark, right? Okay, so how on earth is this giant, tangled knot of love and lies ever gonna get sorted out? Well, this is Shakespeare we're talking about. Of course he has one more major twist up his sleeve. That's right, Sebastian, the twin brother Viola thought was dead this whole time. He's alive. And not only is he alive, he's just arrived in Illyria too. And he has absolutely no idea his identical twin sister is running around town disguised as a man who looks exactly like him. The potential for chaos just doubled. This is it. This is peak confusion. Everyone starts mistaking Sebastian for Cesario. So when Olivia bumps into Sebastian, she thinks it's her beloved Cesario. She proposes marriage on the spot, and Sebastian, who is totally baffled, but hey, there's a beautiful rich lady asking to marry him, he just says yes. It's incredible.
So you've got one twin pining for a duke, and the other suddenly married to a countess, and neither one has a clue the other even exists.
And then, the moment we've all been waiting for, Viola and Sebastian finally end up in the same room at the same time. And just like that, everything clicks into place. The disguises are revealed. Orsino realizes that this young man he's become so close to is actually a woman who loves him, and he proposes. The messy triangle beautifully resolves into two happy couples. Phew. So, okay, the plot is wild. It's funny, but why does this play stick around? I mean, it's been over 400 years. Why do we still love it so much?
Well, the real magic of this play is that it's so much deeper than just a wacky mix-up. That whole mistaken identity thing, it's really asking big questions about who we are. Like, does our gender define us? Or is it something else? And the whole prank on poor Malvolio, that's a hilarious takedown of anyone who's a little too obsessed with climbing the social ladder. But at its heart, it's a celebration of love, all kinds of love.
When you get right down to it, Twelfth Night endures because it has everything. You get heartfelt romance, you get some of the absolute wittiest jokes Shakespeare ever wrote, and you get this really warm, knowing look at how wonderfully foolish we can all be, especially when we fall in love.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Think about it. Viola had to pretend to be someone else to truly express her love and loyalty. It was in disguise that she was most herself. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a disguise can set you free, what are we all hiding from in our own lives?